Welcome to our fifth Midsummer Soiree, Kiwanis Midsummer Soiree, and I'm your host tonight, Christian Aubert. I'm your president from the Lakeshore Kiwanis. I'm very happy to see so many people here. Thank you very much for showing up. Tonight we have an exciting evening. We'll let you know a bit what drives our passion to be Kiwanis and what our purpose is. We've been around now for 61 years. This is the Kiwanis of Lakeshore, Montreal. The Kiwanis themselves, they were founded in 1915 in Detroit. I think they're still in the USA. With Trump, we don't know, maybe he traded Detroit for Greenland. And the first club in Quebec was founded 101 years ago. And that was actually our sponsoring club. And we happened 61 years ago. And one of our founding members is actually here tonight. Jacques, would you please stand up? Jacques, a tribute to you. You were part of the founding fathers of this club, and this is fantastic. Thank you very much. I also would like to welcome some of our guests. You're all guests, and we're all very happy that you're here. And okay, you turned off the wrong mic. Okay, now we're good.
We're good.
All right. Where is Francis? Francis Carpalegia. Okay. Member of Parliament and a fierce supporter of the Kiwanis. He's coming to many events. supports us with his participation and his financial contribution. So thank you very much. We couldn't do it without people like you. Thank you. And because we have no political and religious affiliation, we also have somebody from the Conservative Party. John, where are you? John? John. All right. John is the president of the Conservative Party of the West Island. Do I have that correct? All right. So since Joy's not here, we were thinking of having the two of you up here and then ask you each, okay, what are you going to do for the Kiwanis? We're still thinking about it, okay? So anyhow, so that's thank you very much for coming and for being here. And so tonight we have a special evening because we have, to my right here, we have Rhonda Massad from the West Island blog. Okay. Rhonda has been a recent supporter because the reason she is a recent supporter is because, you know what, most of the people don't know about the Kiwanis. Like, how many people in here heard about the Kiwanis the first time in the last month? Not bad. Ken, you're a liar. So people don't know about the Kiwanis, but you know, I say, do you know who the Shriners are? Yeah, the guy with the funny hat and the elephant that they got the hospital. They got their branding down pat. We don't. We're not very good at branding. So one of the reasons that we are here tonight is to also to present our brand, to do a better job about being top of the mind when people hear about the Kiwanis. No, we're not a sect. No, we're not an Indian tribe. No, we're actually just people who love to help other people, mainly children first. That's our purpose. And tonight we're going to dwell in a bit into that more. See what I mean about me being a comic despite myself? I stumble over my words. But with the idea is we want to show you who we are, what we do, and what our passion is, and what we do. So, without further ado, I'm going to ask, thank you. All right. So, Rhonda, are we ready?
We are ready.
We are ready. All right. So, here is Rhonda Massad. I'm going to ask, and to my left, actually, our most recent and youngest Kiwani. All right, it's got 2 stars, okay? Youngest and most recent, Danielle Khoury, gracious day from Rhonda. She actually introduced him to us, and he liked what we're doing and what we stand for. I'm going to ask now Rhonda Laporta to please come up here and sit down here for the interview. And Gilles Talbot, Monsieur Talbot. All right.
All right, so we are here and we are going to be interviewing people in a way that will let you see what the Kiwanis is about and what they do in the community. So we're starting out this first section with 2 members. We are going to contrast the new versus the not quite so new.
The young versus
Do you like
the
that?
old.
No, I didn't want to say that.
Well, I don't like to say that.
What do I do? No, we're not
The
doing
experience
that.
versus the less experienced one.
Thank you. So the mature versus the not so mature.
Yeah, I like that one.
There we go. All right.
Oh, you
So
belong in our
Ron
club.
de la Porta is 24 years a Kiwanis member, and you're a past president. You're a current board member. You are, and you have sales background. And it's beautiful to have you here. Now, Gilles, we have 3 years.
2.
2. Sorry, I did change my notes, but just to read that. We're working on 3. So he's 2 years. He's a retired sales IT person.
Yes.
He calls himself the IT guy. So he was in project management, and he is happily donating back his time to the Kiwanis. Dan, I'm going to let you take a turn.
Thank you, Rhonda. So, gentlemen, you've been with Kiwanis for quite some time. Even 2 years is quite some time. And Ron, I want to start it off with you. So, what made you join 24 years ago Kiwanis? What attracted you to join this beautiful
And stick.
And stick.
There for
And stick.
20, yeah, for
And
24
stick, you're
years.
darn right, and stick. Part of it is Jacques Dubuc, who was one of the founders, a great founder of the club way back there. He started the club for he'd been in the club mostly for reasons I probably was. Actually, about 25 years ago, it came around with what's in the news today. You might hear about youth centers. Problems they get in inner cities, problems they get in Toronto today, in inner cities. The violence that's involved in inner cities, or what do kids do after school in inner cities. That's what got me involved in Kiwanis. Our local community here in Lachine had an issue with children. They had different youth centers, but there was a background of willingness in the community here. Here we're in Point Claire here as well, but also in Dorval. We have a great youth center in Dorval, but there's also some great ones in Lachine. And at that time, it was a buzz of how to open another youth center, which was brought up by a gentleman who's here today, John Hashey, who's now representing the Conservative Party out here. And good luck, John. That was a joke.
Good luck
Anyway,
to everybody.
That's when I got involved with setting up a youth center, and through the youth center there was some requirements to sort of get some beginning of fundings besides the community of Lachine funding or the city of Lachine funding, and that's when people around me who knew Kiwanis from having large events in the Lachine community where they had large barbecues or boating events or large events in which they would raise money for helping kids.
So it's basically very much a child.
I'm going to go over my 7 minutes.
I
you
know that, I'm cutting you off.
So,
That was me being polite. Did you like it?
so there and then I was presented to a few members of Kiwanis, by the community around.
We don't have 25 years.
And the one who introduced me to the club, you come and join the club, I'll be happy with you. Jag is here in the club today. He introduced me 25 years ago, way back there.
All right,
Okay.
we will be back to you, Mr. Ron.
You asked me to come up stage an hour ago. Here I am.
Here he is, and we will be back talking to Ron in a sec.
So Gilles, the question goes the same to you. A more recent member of the club, what made you join 2 years ago, Kiwanis, and why are you still with us?
Firstly, I came to this event 2 years ago. That was my first exposure to Kiwanis. I'm in an association as a treasurer, another association, and happen to be alongside on that board with Christian. And Christian invited me out here 2 years ago, at which time I got to assess the room and met most of the Kiwanians at that event and thought this is a great idea. Kiwanians, that's what we call ourselves. So from the involvement that I had initially, what got me attracted is I was very quickly involved with the associations to whom we donate money. One of my first involvements was having to do some government reporting in and around organizations that I had no clue about. So I had to quickly educate myself to be able to educate the government as to how we spend our money. Because as a foundation, as a charitable organization, in all of the money that we collect, we have to do accounting to the government for, and it's quite detailed. So my first involvement was quickly with that, and I was involved in all of the major events, including the Midsummer Soiree last year, the golf tournament, the Nuts and Cakes, right off the bat. At my inception in December of 2017, I was involved with that. And therefore, because I had a lot of involvement very quickly, it was fairly easy to stay on board because who else would do it?
There's always that in an organization. We'll talk to Akila about that later. I want to ask both of you gentlemen, if you were a new member of the community, you just arrived, or you want to start partaking, or I don't know, your kids have grown up and you want to give some time back, why would I choose Kiwanis over another organization? We have plenty, so what would make me choose? Ron, do you want to try that?
Yeah, if I may go first, thank you. The thought was, as much as it was mine, it could be as well yours. The main issue in any kind of organization is sharing, and sharing your time, which the word Kiwanis is. The word Kiwanis is helping, sharing, or possibly simply put, portage. And portage is a well historical name with the First Nations and what have you, is helping to carry across or to carry over those who are much less in a position to be able to go do a work or do a job or just to do it. They cannot. Or we have to train them in order to do. And that's the kind of sharing of time we want to express here at this meeting. If you can share some time, well, we have lots of places that we need time shared. And I'll tell you some about them in a few minutes.
All right, can I just see that for 2 seconds? I just want to point out to everybody in the room some of the organizations and the initiatives that the Kiwanis takes. It's Special Olympics, Project Eliminate, Nova West Island, Club Zone de la Chine, St. Vincent de Paul Food Bank. Some of these we'll be hearing from tonight. Just a few more, 60 Million Girls, Overture with the Arts. They reach out into the community in a very specific way and help youth-oriented organizations. I think the initiative tonight in general is to start passing the baton to the less mature.
Well, one of the involvements, Andy and Christian really got us set up with Concordia MBA units, the Molson School of MBA Studies, and they've been able to come up with a report of about 30 pages that talk about getting much more friendly on media, whether it be Facebook, LinkedIn, and just getting our word out more electronically. Something we've been word of mouth organization over the 61 years that we've existed, and it'll be important to transition over to an electronic media in terms of growing the base. I had the good fortune as a child, and I think that's maybe why I gravitated to this type of organization. As a child, I benefited from the Scout organization. And I had a whole lot of adults that put a lot of time in helping us through, all the way into the Rovers. So I spent at least 10 years very active in the Scout organization, and I got to see a lot of bénévoles from adults that spent time getting us moving forward.
You know, Gilles, I was in Scouts, and honestly, I feel the same way. Oh. Now, maybe a question to the audience, Rhonda. Who here is not yet part of Kiwanis? Raise your hand. A good group of people. So, Ron, what would you have to say to the people that raised their hands? What kind of message would you like to give them?
I'd like you to think deeply in your lives, as we have done in ours, and think of the help you received to achieve what you have achieved right now.
That's beautiful.
I'd like you to think a little longer, a little deeper, and think about that first time you fell down, or the first time you got into a fist fight. If you're a guy, girls don't do that. Or first time you had rejection. Or first time you encountered someone who was completely disabled and you took a good look and said, oh my God, am I ever a fortunate human being? Am I ever a fortunate human being? How can I take up a small challenge like sharing time?
Well done.
And Jill, can I ask you the same question?
I think the attraction, if we're coming back to the attraction of why I joined Kiwanis, one was there was a need. There was a need for time in a particular role at that time. But what I found enticing about Kiwanis is the two ends of the spectrum. I've always had a high affinity for helping out kids from my Scout days, and I've had a high affinity because of elder parents to helping the aged, which we also do. We run a program at the Veterans Hospital once a month where we provide entertainment, and I've had the good fortune of meeting 95-year-olds that were in the campaign in Italy and are surviving today, of which there's about 100 veterans left at the hospital that benefit from our programs. So the two ends of the spectrum are where I see our need, and the need for volunteers is really in helping the people out, in and out, all of the groups, all of the age groups, but primarily the young and the old.
Okay, I have one question more for Ron and one for Gilles. Ron, what was your favorite initiative? What was your favorite thing? And we love all of our groups, so there's no this non-partisan answer, but do you have a specific group?
And I'm sure all of you know someone in your family or your extended family or close by, a little further away, have challenges physically and or probably mentally. I've seen them in my family, whether they were from children to adults, because you can have a cancer of the leg or a broken leg or unable to walk, but you can also have a cancer in the brain. And that would bring extreme difficulties to an entire family. So in my family history, it had support, which had to support those avenues, for which is where I picked up my needs to say, it's my turn to do some giving. And where do I share my time into giving? And it's not on the internet. I share my time not on IT, but I share my time among people who have needs. And those are youths, a lot of youths, from youth centers, and then those who are disabled at Special Olympics, and others which I cannot support with my time. I can work the projects that Kiwanis brings up, or we would like you to join our club and bring up some new projects that we can involve ourselves in, where we can do some fundraising, and then we would distribute funds where I cannot go, but somebody else can, but the money would help.
I think, Ron, you said something really nice, right? I mean, if we don't have time to do something, the club does, right? And it's with the help with everybody here now. Jill, what are your thoughts on this? What was your favorite event or your favorite moment in the Kiwanis Club?
I think there are several, but I was heavily exposed to the intellectually handicapped, and I think that was a real eye-opener in terms of seeing how the individuals and the parents and family deal with that issue at day camps, Pat Roberts Center. A real eye-opener, I think, to go spend a little bit of time and see what they're doing and how they could be using funding. So the WIA organization is one that I hold to heart. That's on one end of the spectrum, and the other end of the spectrum is I had the opportunity at John Abbott to present scholarship to two individuals that were academic achievers. So I think encouraging academic achievement is another, and I think our participation in primary, high schools, and even at the CJEP level, more participation in the future might be a way to prolong and grow our membership, because those individuals later on will have economic standing and be able to help their community as we are helping them now.
So, Jill, I think you said something really interesting about how it's challenging to grow membership, right? And how a good strategy would be with more participation. What other challenges do you think we're facing, and maybe other organizations are facing as well? What do you see at Kiwanis that might be common for everybody? And maybe that's unique to Kiwanis as well.
Well, I think it's everyone would be challenged with the time factor. As much as our predecessors may have had time for local gatherings and time to be spending face-to-face with individuals, the new generation seems to be racing after itself with these new technologies.
And the new generation has dragged us all in.
I'm as much of an electronic addict as a child is.
Except we say the Facebook.
Let's not talk too bad about the new generation, please.
So it is an issue, and we can either discount it and rave about it, or rant about it, or we can actually come on board and use it, but use it more effectively possibly than is being used today. And the face-to-face, the conversations, this gathering expresses an idea that if people are willing to jump into their cars on a very rainy day and come out to an event because they committed or they had an interest in knowing, hats off to you. It would have been a whole lot easier to go home and have dinner, I think. So that's part of the time factor, is knowing when to participate in whatever you can do in forms of participation, whether it be background work on accounting or frontground work on marketing and exposure.
Thank you, Joe.
Okay, I think we're almost out of time for this little segment of our evening. Thank you, gentlemen, Jill and Ron.
Thank you very much.
You heard the stories and the perspective of two of the Kiwanis. All the guys and gals who work around with this kind of tag, they're Kiwanis. So if you want to find out more about what we do and what really excites us and gets us going, that would be the person to ask. Now, I see some people, they don't have those tags, but they're Kiwanis as well. Alan back there is one of them. He's a Kiwani, okay, but he doesn't have his regular tag. But you can ask him as well. Anyhow, we cannot do it on our own, as you noticed, and we are, people ask, what are you? We are a service club, and our club is really here to help our partner organizations in achieving their goals. We fall in love with what they do, and then we try to find means in helping them. Sometimes it's physical, like Ken, who goes every Sunday bowling with some people who are challenged mentally, but are great people. And it takes people to organize that. And we have Gilles who goes to the Veterans Hospital once a month. So some people have time to give. Some other people have skills to give. And we need some time. Well, right now we're looking for social media specialists, people who can help us there in keeping an eye on firstly to be present on the social media and to be able there. Because as was said before by Gilles, one of the challenges is to get to a meeting. And meetings today are like, it takes an hour and a half driving, and then you have the meeting, and then you drive back and so, and a lot of people don't really have the time anymore. I just see it with my own daughter. She has 4 kids, and each has his own schedule. Each needs his own assistant, literally. And that's my daughter. She's the assistant to all of her kids. Okay, 2 of them are here tonight, so she's half the night off. Okay? So she's lucky for that. I'd like to thank some of our sponsors, without whom we could not do it. Our biggest sponsor, actually, for many, many years, has been Bingo La Chine. Okay, who knew? Okay, Bingo La Chine has been providing us with thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, okay, that we then use to help the organizations who do the work in the community. All right. Then we have some other people who help us. We have Joey Elias, who normally helps us with his time. With Rhonda is here tonight, helping us with her time. We have the Banque Nationale, who's helped us, helping us with money and the golf balls when we have our golf tournament. I don't want to forget anybody, but there is several. Francis
We want to
Carpaleja.
thank you.
Francis.
I
like that.
people that want to thank you.
President. Thank you. Anyhow, it takes a village to bring up a team, a child, okay, and I think it takes the Kiwanis to help us, to help a village or a society or the West Island where we are really active. And we're not just in the West Island. We also have 60 million girls, which is an incredible organization who helps literacy for children, women in particular, all over the world, in South America, in Africa, and we contribute there $10,000 a year. So we're very proud of having that as well, not just that. And as Jill said, it's not just impoverished people. Yes, we have those, but we also encourage academic excellence. We also encourage people to excel and to form the future leaders. And that's one of the challenges that we have to identify them. The club meetings, they're fun, they're nice, I make new friends, they make friends, but ultimately time is of an essence. And I really want to thank you for having taken the time and be here tonight.
From walking home and talking loads to seeing shows in evening clothes with you, from nervous touch and getting drunk to staying up and waking up with you. Now we're sleeping on the edge, holding something we don't need. All this delusion in our heads is gonna bring us to our knees. So come on, let it go, just let it be. Why don't you be you, and I'll be me. Everything that's broke, leave it to the breeze. Why don't you be you,
and Manon Lacroix, who is around, and next on the panel as well, I hope. Manon, Manon, voilà. No, parfait. Alors, so while they get ready, somebody asked me, well, what do you do at the vet's hospital? Well, you know, when the vets come down, and most of them are in wheelchairs, but they still love the music. So sometimes some volunteers just dance with them with a wheelchair. It's able to give them a sense of participation, of rhythm, it's just to get the blood flowing. And that's what we do as volunteers. And what about the Special Olympics, about bowling? What do we do there? Well, Ken can tell you about it, but I'm going to explain what Ken, and then he can correct me. But basically, you know, some people, they don't know how to bowl. Be it just to be there and show them how to bowl, and then to have fun doing it. And I know Ken sometimes tells us about how some outstanding results that some of those bowlers get. And these are so-called handicapped people. There's no such thing. Just some people with more impairments than others. And all we do here is try to bridge those gaps and help them. And help the people who have the passion to help those people.
Okay, so we are introducing today Overture with the Arts with Akilah Newton. How are you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Good. I want you to tell me, first of all, what does your organization do for the community?
So Overture with the Arts is a non-profit organization based in the West Island, and we make the arts accessible to youth from age 0 up until 21. We offer a variety of in-school and after-school programs, and we really want to keep youth engaged, and we want them to learn from professional artists. So they're creating, we're boosting up their self-esteem, and they're learning from amazing artists. So we offer a lot of free and low-cost programs, and we've been around since 2009.
So with 10 years under your belt and the free and low-cost programming, you need Kiwanis members to keep doing what they're doing.
Absolutely. Their help means the world to us. Without their help, I mean, we wouldn't be able to do our Christmas party, which we've been doing for 7 years now. So we have about 80 to 100 kids every December that come for a free Christmas party, where they're also creating, they get to do dance workshops, they get a live music concert. So the Kiwanis has been so supportive of what we do, and we wouldn't be able to do all these activities and events without their help.
That's fantastic, Dan.
Alors moi, je vais faire ça en français, Rhonda. Alors j'ai l'incroyable Manon Lacroix ici, qui en 1996, vous avez rejoint le centre d'option prévention TVDS. Dites-nous, qu'est-ce qui fait TVDS?
Alors, le Centre Option Prévention TVDS est né en 1996. En fait, je l'ai co-créé avec une autre amie pour mettre en branle des activités pour les jeunes et les moins jeunes. On s'est concentré pendant plusieurs années sur la clientèle jeunesse à travers le Québec. Également, par la suite, nous avons bifurqué en parallèle avec la clientèle carcérale et aussi avec les militaires et les vétérans. Donc, quand vous parlez d'hôpital Sainte-Anne, je connais, j'y travaille déjà, et puis je peux dire que votre aide est indispensable. C'est vraiment fantastique. Je voudrais remercier les auteurs de cette soirée. Ça fait quelques années, en fait, ça fait plusieurs années que je suis membre, pas membre, mais que je viens à vos soirées. Je suis très choyée. La première rencontre a eu lieu à la Chine dans une salle où il y avait d'autres organismes et Ron de la Porta était là. Alors lui s'occupait du Club Zone à l'époque qui était Club Garçons et Filles de la Chine. Alors on a fait connaissance et Ron m'a fait confiance et on a trouvé lieu de faire une alliance.
Je pense qu'on le connaît, Ron.
Oui, je sais que vous le connaissez.
J'aimerais savoir, est-ce que vous pouvez expliquer les TVDS?
Oui, pour ceux et celles qui ne le savent pas, TVDS, il y en a qui, ça fait longtemps je le dis, là, qui veut dire prévention toxicomanie pour le T, V pour violence, D pour délinquance et SIDA parce qu'on travaille au niveau des conduites sexuelles. Donc, tout ce qui concerne les infections transmissibles sexuellement et par le sang, donc ce qu'on appelle les ITSS, anciennement MTS, puis dans mon ancien temps, là, moi aussi j'ai vieilli, c'était les maladies vénériennes. Maladie vénérienne qui vient de la planète Vénus, qui est l'amour. Donc, alors ça vient de là, si vous
C'est
posez
pas
la
le
question.
slogan, ça, là.
Non, c'est pas le slogan. Alors, c'est pour ça. On avait mis suicide au départ, mais c'était touché. Alors, on a converti par TBDS. TBDS avait une portée provinciale et depuis cette année là, qui commence, nous avons une portée régionale plus locale, donc la Chine d'Orval West Island.
Okay, Akila, I would like to know what it is like to be a student child coming. What is like one experience or the day in the life of a child coming to the Overture with the Arts?
Well, I mean, a prime example is Emily, who just performed a few minutes ago. She started in our program when she was 12 years old. So it's 4 years that she's been taking our programs. She took singing lessons. She was in a girl group that our organization put together. She got to travel to Niagara Falls and perform in front of 6,000 people. So a day in the life is basically performing, volunteering, and creating. So we just like to give youth opportunities to do quality programs at basically no cost, because Emily got to participate in the program for free for the last 4 years.
And is everybody entitled to join your group, or do you have to be vetted?
Anyone could join. You don't need experience, we just want kids to create in a safe and positive environment.
And where do we find you? How do we find you on the internet or so on?
So you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. It's just at Overture with the Arts, and our website is www.owta.org.
Thanks.
Thank you, Kila.
Thank
I don't have as much of a nice voice as her, so I don't know if I'm going to join, but
You could paint.
I can do that. I'll try to paint within the lines. Manon, donc, vous aidez les filles de 6 à 17 ans.
Oui.
Dites-moi, avec toutes les histoires que vous avez vécues depuis 1996, donnez-moi une histoire où l'aide que Kiwanis, le support que Kiwanis apporte, a vraiment impacté votre organisme. Peut-être une histoire spécifique d'une certaine personne qui vous allez toujours vous rappeler.
Ben moi, je vais en donner deux. 2 pour 1. En fait, le programme Génération L, pour ceux et celles qui ne connaissent pas, c'est pour les jeunes filles de l'arrondissement La Chine, d'Orval et dans West Island. On a fait quelques ateliers. Donc, je vous ai passé tantôt le pamphlet. C'est vraiment pour développer les habiletés personnelles et sociales des jeunes filles, le renforcement des compétences, c'est-à-dire estime, confiance, communication, gestion des émotions, prise de décision, affirmation de soi, pour qu'elles puissent s'épanouir et grandir d'une façon autonome et s'autosuffire. Il y a beaucoup à la Chine et dans les quartiers plus appauvris, Saint-Pierre, Dovecourt, des jeunes filles qui sont aux prises avec tout ce qu'on appelle de plus en plus l'exploitation sexuelle. On a créé un parcours virtuel, donc du e-learning sur un site qui s'appelle jeudéclic.com. Et je peux dire que si, oui, je vais le dire, si les membres Kiwanis n'avaient pas investi ou cru en nous, ce programme-là n'existerait pas. Ça, c'est sûr et certain. Si demain matin, l'aide cessait, pas parce que je veux vous faire peur, mais on ne peut pas continuer. Parce que les fonds manquent, comme vous le savez. Il y a beaucoup de gens qui sont en attente, des jeunes filles qui sont en attente au CIUS de la Chine d'Orval. La salle sont sur une liste de priorités. Et malheureusement, faute de temps, mais faute surtout de personnel, on ne peut pas toutes les desservir. Alors, nous, on va dans les écoles et on met en branle avec les éducateurs et les enseignants, parce que c'est eux qui ciblent les jeunes filles qui sont plus en difficulté, des groupes qu'on suit sur 5-6 rencontres, ça veut dire à peu près 8 heures d'encadrement, de support et où on travaille leur habileté personnelle et sociale. Donc, je suis prof de formation, je suis également psychothérapeute de l'ordre des psychologues. Donc, je sais vraiment de quoi je parle à travers les années. J'ai pu rouler ma bosse, comme on dit.
Puis, vous avez parlé de quelque chose, vous avez sursauté très rapidement, le site Internet que vous avez donné, donc le e-learning, le virtuel.
Le site e-learning, c'est jeudéclic.com. Donc, il y a 3 parcours virtuels. Il y a jusqu'à maintenant 22 000 jeunes qui sont allés. C'est quand même beaucoup. Depuis 2011. Donc, intimidation, exploitation sexuelle. Et puis, l'avant-dernier qui était sur l'ecstasy, le cannabis. Vous savez, le cannabis est une drogue maintenant légale. malheureusement. Pour le cerveau des jeunes, c'est affreux.
Puis on sait qu'avec les réseaux sociaux qui deviennent de plus en plus populaires, quelque chose en ligne va beaucoup aider. Rhonda, I think...
Juste un instant, je vais vous raconter une histoire qui m'a vraiment troublée. C'est une jeune fille que j'avais dans un de mes ateliers qui m'a suivie longtemps parce que je l'ai prise sous mon aile pour qu'elle puisse devenir une jeune mentor. Donc, elle était en 4e année, elle est rendue maintenant en 6e année. Elle faisait dans l'école à la Chine de l'intimidation. Donc, elle faisait peur aux autres jeunes. Il faut dire qu'elle a été elle-même victime. Sa mère, qui souffrait de schizophrénie, a tenté de l'assassiner. Et c'est le père qui a eu la garde et le père a des problèmes de consommation. Alors, cette jeune fille-là, pour se faire valoir, a dû prendre plancher de la mauvaise façon. Alors, moi, ce que j'ai fait, je l'ai introduit dans mes groupes pour qu'elle devienne une jeune modèle pour les plus jeunes, pour qu'elle serve à son tour de l'aide aux plus jeunes pour empêcher l'intimidation. Et ça fait la différence.
Un grand merci, Manon. And Rhonda, round of applause, Rhonda, with social media becoming more and more popular and becoming part of the everyday lives of these youth, I think organizations like these ones are extremely important.
Absolutely, and we want to thank you for all that you do in our community. We're going to take a quick break and we're going to have 2 more community organizations to speak to next.
We'll be right back. Thank you.
Merci à tout le monde.
Merci Manon. Thank you Akira. Thank you Rhonda and Danielle. We're going to introduce the next 2 guests. I also want to recognize Lynn Charlebois, who is also one of our partners that we work with Waya. And we're actually working with 22 different groups, mainly on the West Island. And we're taking great pride in being able to assist them in reaching their goals. No way that we could do that on our own. So we're really working as a team. And to just showcase some more of the impact that some of our partners have, some of the partner organizations, I'm going to ask Anthony to please come up here. Anthony Mansour with Club Zone La Chine. Hi Anthony, good to see you. And our long-standing friend, where is Mr. Cadoret? Mr. Cadoret. Brian is in charge of the, is a big part of the St. Paul's Food Bank in La Chine, and also a recipient of the Order of Canada, so he must have done something right, or something else right. Also long-standing Kiwanian. Brian, please come up here. Nice to have you here, Brian. Please take a seat. So without further ado, Rhonda, they're back in your hands.
You're back in my hands, guys. Do you guys have any questions that you think I should be asking? Or that we should be asking? If you do, don't hesitate to interrupt. My kids do it all the time. All right, so we are here with Brian. I haven't got my glasses on, Brian. Help me out, I can't see. Coderette?
Well, that's all right.
You need this. Oh my God. Oh my God, look at that. We can always share.
Any questions, it's
Cataract.
$5 per question.
Okay, but I like the glasses.
It goes to Kiwanis, right?
Oh, definitely.
That's it. All right, Brian, what do you do? Why are you here? And what's with the St. Paul's Food Bank?
Well, it's St. Vincent de Paul. The name came from way back. It was taken from one of the saints of the Catholic Church. However, it had nothing to do with the Catholic Church at the time. It was during the French Revolution, where you had a couple of university students, especially one by the name of Frederick Ozanam, who felt that the need was there to help the poor at that time during the Revolution, because the Queen said let them eat cake, but there was no cake to eat at that time. And there was no bread either. So that's where it was founded. It was way back during the Revolution. Anyway, it proceeded from there to go worldwide. We're now all over the world, the St. Vincent de Paul Society. It's a lay society that is attached to the Catholic Church, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's belonged to the Catholic Church. We're at arm's length. We're there as a first-line group to help the poor.
Where are you located?
We're located in Lachine at the Resurrection Church.
How many people do you serve?
We're serving right now 150 families.
A month?
No, that's every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks?
Every 2 weeks. And the better part of it is that we have never gone over 65 children any year in the last 30 or 40 years. This year, because of the influx of people, immigrants that are coming in, we have 153 children.
How do people help you?
Well, the Kiwanis are a big help, and then our major fundraising is from the Lachine Community Foundation. And through other people that help out, I have friends that give us a few dollars here and there. And this is...
How has Kiwanis dollars impacted you exactly, like specifically?
Well, if we lose the funding from Kiwanis, I think I'll have to sell my shirt or something, or my ties. I have about 150
Or his
ties.
glasses.
Or my glasses. No, it's going to impact us very heavily, and instead of giving milk every two weeks, and orange juice and eggs and everything else, we're going to have to cut back, really cut back.
Do you supply the milk and eggs yourself? Would you buy it, or do they get a coupon to go
No,
get that?
we buy the food, we buy everything ourselves.
And do they shop, or do they just come?
No, they come
Do you
in and
prepare the baskets
we
for
have
them?
prepared baskets, and then they have a pick of the fresh vegetables and fruit that they can take, you know.
So anybody who's in Lachine, or anybody who's listening, a new program on the West Island is Grow a Row. If you have a garden and you would like to grow, I'm sure these people would love to have you.
Gladly accept it. Anything, yes, anything.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, Rhonda. So to my right, we've got Anthony Mansour, President of Club Zone. So Anthony, tell me more, or tell me about Club Zone.
Well, dynamic clubs create dynamic leaders and communicators. And so Club Zone for boys and girls 11 to 17 years old gives them an opportunity to express themselves and explore their limits, and that's where they become better leaders and communicators. Essentially, it's the bottom line.
I like how you pointed at me when you said better leaders. So,
I wonder why you didn't point to me.
Discrimination.
I think so.
No, not at all.
Tell me what's a day-to-day like in your organization?
Sure. So we have 211 members, boys and girls, 11 to 17. Monday through Friday, meeting at Lakeside Academy. And so basically more than just an after-school program. We don't babysit, we give them workshops. How to do interviews, how to write resumes. We have workshops on poetry. We have workshops in art. Every day we have a cooking class. How to learn everything from prepping things, cutting vegetables, cooking it, and then the cleanup, which no one likes after, but they like doing that anyway. So this is part of the whole overall program that we do.
So Anthony, basically you're teaching life skills.
Life skills, correct. Every Friday and Saturday we have an open gym, and we have anywhere from 75 to 90 kids every those particular nights also.
And Anthony, I love the fact that you're teaching life skills, because I remember when I went to high school, they taught us how to cook, how to do a job interview.
How to live.
How to be a day-to-day person, right? I mean, how to be an adult, and it's not something that you learn at school, and I love that. I love that you're teaching that. Now tell me, how does the Kiwanis dollars, how does that impact you guys?
Sure. So Kiwanis is one of our major contributors, and 100% of the funds coming from Kiwanis goes directly for the kids' activities. Nothing to do with salaries, nothing to do with any of that stuff, but 100% goes towards whether buying some material or getting some things going for the kids, but it's directly related to activities, which is really
In both
positive.
your cases, and I think all four organizations, pretty much everybody's volunteer, maybe short of a base at 1 or 2 people in the organization, am I right?
We have all volunteers. No one gets paid.
We have some paid staff, but they're not very well paid, and most of the people are volunteers, such as myself and others, of course.
Yeah, I feel you. I do feel you.
Now, what would you say, Anthony, is, especially with, again, social media becoming so popular, people at that age are less and less prone of being face-to-face, more in front of the computer, more on their cell phones. Is that a big challenge for your organization, getting youth to really come in and finding what you do important enough to give face-to-face time?
Sure, it's one of our rules that you put that phone away when you're there with Club Zone. So, first few days, the kids get a little bit trouble, but they get used to it pretty quickly. And it's only a few hours a day, it's not that it's there 24 hours anyway. They can easily put their phone away for a short period of time and focus on some real stuff. And interacting with people face to face is almost a novel idea now at this point.
And if somebody from the audience, his kids, grandkids wanted to join, how do you do that?
Just come on over anytime, you're always more than welcome.
Where are you located?
Lakeside Academy. Just come after school, we're there until 8 p.m. And I have to add also, we did something really exceptional this year. We had 40 kids participate in a summer camp, all for free. So we had buses leave from Lakeside Academy, from Lachine, all the way up to Chertsey, Quebec, and back. And we had 2 groups of 1 week, and we had 40 kids in all. And they're fully animated, fully a real professional cook there. And the kids loved it. It was really, really interesting and fun at the same time.
Rhonda, I gotta say, I mean, I'm not a kid and I would love to do some of those workshops.
I just miss camp. I don't know about you guys, but anything in camp.
Well, listen,
3
we need
squares.
more volunteers. We're always welcome.
Well, if you could feed me the 3 meals and I can go swimming, we're good.
Okay, sure.
I see a correlation here, and Kiwanis, I think every single member that I've seen tonight, the 4 groups, could actually, you can see how they culminate and become community important. Your members will eventually be working for this gentleman's organization, I would say. And I want to know how people can get you and how can they help you directly, because I can pretty much guarantee people are listening. It's what I do.
Well, they could call the Resurrection Church, available anytime during the week, and they'll put me in touch with them. We have a phone number, a specialized phone number that's out there too, so they could communicate through that.
What is that number, please?
I can't tell you.
Okay. Can we Google you?
Yes, you can.
Good. Good stuff. And we have
Absolutely, can Google, and you'll find it on Facebook with cool photos too.
Okay. On the Facebook?
Absolutely.
On the Facebook. All right, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you
very much.
I think that concludes our visit with our organization. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Anthony. Yeah, but you have to be careful. There is normally they put a yellow thing there so that people don't trip. So it just shows you that I'm actually much younger than I look. I didn't trip. So I like the way that Anthony said we had a camp. It was for free. Actually, it was not for free. It was for free for the participants. Okay, that's what has to be understood. The people here, it's for free. There's always something behind it. And this is where we take the pride of being able to support groups like this so that they can do things for free for their clients, for their children, for their families. And you know, I remember when I grew up in Switzerland and my dad left, I was 13. And in those days, it was really not very fashionable to come from a broken home. We used to go to on vacation every year to Italy, still do. And but at that time we had to curtail our normal plans. And I got in the school program. I was actually one of the kids that was identified of having had some bad luck, as my father had left. And I was going with a group of other 40 kids from the city of Zurich down to the sea and spend 2 weeks there for free. No, it was not for free, it was free for me. So I know firsthand what it is to be able to be the receptor of such great actions that people like Club Zone do, that the Food Bank does, Overture with the Arts, and TVDS by Manon, and Lynn, and all the other ones, 22 organizations that we were able to assist. So, thank you, Rhonda.
Of course.
It was absolutely marvelous to have you here tonight.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Danielle. I see big things for you at Kiwanis. He's got on one of those tags, the actually member tags.
He's initiated. He's done his first thing.
Yes, it's done more than one thing. So it's really good. If you want to find out more about the Kiwanis, it's very simple. You can Google us, that's great, and you'll find our website. But you can also ask the person who invited you, okay, to tell you more about what we are and who we are. We're not looking necessarily for members, but we're looking for members, yes, but also for volunteers. We're looking for sponsors. We're looking simply for people who'd like to assist us in helping those great organizations that have an impact right from the ground up. I want to point out our volunteers from Ajoie. Ajoie is another group we're supporting, and they're doing also frontline work, walking the parks in the West Island and talking to young people who maybe feel a little disoriented, a bit lost, maybe a bit alienated from their home and their friends, and they have really nowhere to turn, and they may turn really to the wrong place. So chapeau to you guys. You're doing a fantastic job. We also have Emma and Anastasia from Club Zone. They're animators there, they're helping out there. Those are some of the free people that are there. And look at that, they're spending their time with us, so thank you very much. And then I have a very special link to my grandkids who are here. Axel, lift your arm. I'm only taller than him because I stand up here. He's 15 going on 16, and then we have Kai, all right? Second day in high school at Wick. And lastly, I also want to thank Carla Larhoven, who is a professional sommelier and has been very helpful as a volunteer to come here. So thank you very much. Now, I said
before we continue, we'd like to thank you and the team of Kiwanis that organized this. So a round of applause to the organizing team.
Thank you. Do you have something to say?
I have something to say. I know this will end up online and it will likely end up being shared by all of us here. So I'd like to reach out to the community and ask maybe some of the youth out there that want to get involved. And I know a lot of you, especially at Wick, I know you're a new little Wicker Kai, and I know that you have volunteer hours to do, and a lot of the community schools have that. So I would ask the people out there to maybe offer up some tech support, because I would love to direct people to your website, your Facebook page, your Instagram, but they're not there yet. So
absolutely.
So a little tech support out there from the community would be a great thing. So if you know anybody who needs those volunteer hours or just feels like being a little bit techy, you can do that from home. You don't necessarily have to come in for that. So it would be a great help.
Absolutely. So when we talk about volunteering, it doesn't mean to have to come to meetings and stuff like that. It's simply to be able to contribute a little time, a little expertise for our cause.
I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight, and it was a great event. Kiwanis is looking for members, needs volunteers, and it's a community that serves 22 organizations in our community. Food banks, arts, culture, leisure, intervention. It's an important aspect of our community. Please give generously, and please join in and help us out.
Now, Christian, maybe before we continue the party, can you tell us if one wants to become a member, how does he do that?
He fills in an application. No, ask the person who invited you, and what we normally try to encourage the person is to come to one of our meetings just to get a ground floor feeling of who we are. But we also received a study made by Concordia University students where they came up with a whole series of recommendations on how for us to connect with the wider community. And that is the essence that we're trying to do here, is to find new ways to connect with volunteers without having to come to the meeting. The gentleman who did the online registration, he did it pro bono. He's working downtown, he's an IT specialist. He lives on the South Shore. He's got 2.5 kids. His wife just got pregnant for the 3rd one. And it's just no way he's going to come from downtown to meeting to the West End to go down to the South Shore. But he wants to contribute and donate his time. So if we cannot accommodate him, then it's our loss. So this is what really we have to find, is new ways to be able to incorporate the willingness of people to help us. Not help us, but help the organizations who help the children. This is really what we're doing. We help organizations to help the children and make this world a better world, one child at a time.
Thank you.
All right, so we have reached the end of this evening, except there's still some wine. There's not much sandwiches, there's some cheese. Stay around, talk to your friends, make new friends, and we'll touch base with you soon. Thank you very much for showing up and being part of our community. Good night. Be safe.